Welcome everybody, you with the Market Sniper. Thanks for your patience. Lots of busy day. We set up the stream and then other things happen. So we're streaming later than we wanted to. Glad to be with you. Thanks for hitting the like button and giving us a push out. Gold, gold, gold. So we're not talking about silver. We will talk about it. But the key mover that we want to discuss here is the boss, the grand boss, gold. A lot of times people say gold, they mean all precious metals. I mean gold right now. Gold, the yellow stuff, you know. Man drinks yellow fluid. Yeah, that one. The yellow. Only it's not the yellow fluid you're thinking of. Okay, so we're going to be talking about gold particularly today. And we're going to be sharing the charts with you on that one. And there's a real reason why. And it is in a very good place for the next move. And it will move first and foremost. Of course, it drags the others with him. But initially, it's going to be the boss that moves. Right now, what's happening? The Chinese, yes, the real market, I'm tempted to say, are in holiday season. They're in holiday season right now, the real market is, and they are wanting to rest a little bit and have some fun and games, I suppose, do whatever they do, some fireworks, some lanterns and everything else. Who knows why or whatever. We all have a new year. They're going to be celebrating. And I want to show you where the charts are right now and what happened since our post slap in the face events. Oh, yes, we're going to have to refer to that as well. There's been some bot spam. There's been some bot spam and some low-end kind of users that have been grunting, groaning, and puking. We need to deal with that too. But we'll get to that in due course. Let's get straight on with it. Gold, and let's go share screen. So here we come. Now, the interesting about what we do in an HVF method, we also have the opportunity and the wherewithal to do 360-degree analysis. That means we don't just look at gold in terms of dollars. We don't just look at gold in terms of oil barrels, silver ounces, you name it, all currencies. We look at it in all currencies. And here I have for you the gold in the euro. Now, last week, an amazingly good degree of numbers came out for America. You see, they wanted to stop the rot for a little bit, to become a bit of a one-way bet. Of course, the dollar index fell out of an 18-year channel to the downside. That's right. The dollar index fell out of an 18-year channel to the downside. They don't want everyone to get the trade too easy. So we had amazingly good numbers on non-farm payrolls. That wasn't on the Friday because government's shut and they don't want to work and all of that stuff. They're all crying, weeping and moaning and bleeding. They haven't been paid enough. All the politicians are stealing all the money. Usual story, nothing to be, nothing untowards, apart from the usual formula, of course, going on. So what's going on? They came out with better than expected average earnings, better jobs, and better, lower unemployment. All in the news is you've never had it so good. Well, of course, you know that to not so much be true. Also, that happened, there was a very low CPI print. Why would they lie about the CPI? Well, they are lying about the CPI, but they need rates on debt markets to come down. They need rates on debt markets to come down. That's why they would lie about the CPI. Anyway, lots to unravel in all of this. Let's talk first about gold and the euro and the technical chart. So first of all, going a little bit out to catch the big moon pump that was the run up to the 5,600 in dollar terms, and in euro terms was the 4,671. You're not going to recognize some of these numbers. Why are we doing this? Why are we being awkward and looking in euro terms now, not gold? Well, we'll show you gold in dollar terms too, but we'll show you why this is a better technical setup. It is a upside HVF with a part of our reflation. We called for a reflation following all the events that have happened recently of the precious metals. We've called for the reflation of precious metals generally in terms of all of this environment. And we're seeing exactly that. Let's get our epic pen out. So you will notice that on the euro that we don't have a higher high. What are you doing there? Video is getting all cranky. Let's get that all sorted. Don't be silly. There we go, back there. So you can see on the euro, this is not as high. Oh, we got to go TG Pink, a nice fat Koki. Otherwise, nobody's going to be seeing it. You've got to spot the shooter that was wearing a dress, the woman that was wearing a dress, shooting people in Canada. It was a person wearing a dress. Oh, sorry, I think I diverged there a little bit. Oh, yes, indeed. The non-violent people. No, yeah. You cis males are all behind all these shootings. Anyway, back to this. Here we go. 4,568 is the target that is generated, and you're having a little bit of a third impulse. And of course, simultaneous to this, we are also in low volatility. Yes, we're back. We're still back. That's right. Gun person, indeed, gun person. I quite like that. It was a shooting person, a person who shot. That's right. Anyway, back into this. Let's have a look. 2 hourly. You can see it still holds. And in actual fact, we talk about a primer, which is a squeeze within a squeeze inside our community and in our learnings. Please don't book a call. We've got we've had demand over reach at the moment. You're going to be looking at least 2 weeks before you get a chance to speak to someone. And further to that, the payments option will only be back available in the next month. So don't book a call right now. Rather face the higher prices that are coming shortly after that. I don't know. Do whatever you want, but get yourself ready in the meantime if you're thinking of doing something positive, because we have our affiliated brokers. You can get your accounts open on that. I would certainly go for SimpleFX. I'm loving using it. Made big 7-digit sums off nothing money, trading the precious metals and some crypto on that. The SCM, oh boy, you saw the brokers. A few of the bots were in the comments there, but we did fabulously with SCM, and our community as a whole is doing 1,600 times better than average Joe. Isn't that interesting? 80 times better, actually. I must be correct and accurate. Always be correct and accurate. They did 1,600 times to everybody else's 20%, 1,600% to 20%, which is an 80x advantage. I would hate for us to make too many people millionaires. Actually, I wouldn't. I would love to make too many people millionaires. I can't even say that. I'd love to make you all millionaires. But anyway, this is what's happening. This is the next move. You can book a call if you want, but you're going to have to wait a bit and be patient. And you can get your accounts in order in the meantime for the future of that trading. Please recognize that what we talk about here is really just investment. Some people were getting things wrong. It was seeming like I had signed up to provide free trade alerts on leverage trading with guaranteed updates to avoid you getting slammed, that I would automatically be personally notifying you in some way, or I'd always have time to do free view YouTubes so that you could get your exit. Yeah, there are some people that seemed a little confused about that. You've got to understand, I have a life too. I get sick, I get ill, I look after the people I have to look after first, and then whatever's left, I try to get some rest, okay? And then, if there's spare time, I can do some YouTubing. Some people say, that sucks. Why you no pay free program for me? Why you no do free program for me? It's Chinese New Year. Me want free program. Me want free program. Me want free notification. Give me notification. Actually, no. I'm very tired. I'm getting old and decrepit. And so I make sure I help the people that are most helped. Then I go get some rest. But despite that, we did in fact say, before going off on our ride, we got to deal with this one. We got to deal with it, pull it up. Before going on our ride, we did say the following about silver. For all these guys that are saying, you made me go. I made them go. Leveraged long silver. You hear this? You made me go leverage long silver, and then you never gave me the exit. It's like, what about you watching this YouTube channel? Told you that I made you do anything on a non-advisory basis. You made me. And then I was wrecked. You said silver only goes up. Silver only goes up. In actual fact, on the 30th of January 2026, in sympathy, as I was up incredibly early on 4 hours of sleep, feeling a bit broken, and having to ride a bike through traffic for 3 hours to get to the desert where I was supposed to do my drive, I nonetheless found the time, probably on the toilet, to say on the Market Sniper X, By the way, my current take is silver and precious metals have an ordinary churn period and pullback. Spell no leverage long trades for me. No, I am all out. I am all out. That's right. 6 a.m. in the morning, January the 30th, before getting on my bike and pulling all my gear, I found the time to still say 32,600 people saw it. Now, I know I'm talking to the lowest common denominator in the audience here. You need to own your own outcomes. Nobody makes you do anything. You've got to own your own exits. You should never let a market do you damage. Managing losses is everything. If that was your experience, that's your lesson to learn. Please understand. Paid people actually get a commitment out of me. YouTubers, when I can and when I have the time and when I'm feeling good enough, I YouTube. Okay, to talk about it. By the way, 6 a.m. got you out there. 6 a.m. on January the 30th got you out there. So let's just deal with the bots and the guys. I betrayed him. There's a Judas Iscariot for 33 pieces of silver. I took an anonymous group of people into leverage trades. I made them do it. And then I never told them to get out. Okay, guys, let's be honest now. Let's have a little chat. It's time to talk to Dad. It's time to talk to Grandpa, okay? He's going to tell you how it works in this world. All right, there we go. I'm sorry if you got hurt, but I do find it a little bit hysterical. 35.8% crash you would have missed, and you would have got out there. That's right. And our community got a webinar, even though I was still packing the bike before, because I have a commitment to people that have respected me with money to do my damnedest. And then I still thought about it in the morning and said, I'm going to tell the guys I have no leverage longs, the free views that won't hit the like button right now. They're damned if they hit a like button. But I've committed to a lifetime content, free personal notification to them. Anyway, that was the crash that was, and everybody's take on it. And of course, the Judas, call me Judas, he says. There you go, primer. Anyway, beautiful, looking beautiful. Next leg up potentially. You see, I have time. I had other appointments. Internet was down. The live stream fits into my life when I can do it. You had to wait. I'm sorry. It's free. It's free. You know, it's in the word. It's free. Okay. And you can still, and I have people in my community. I just spoke to someone. He'd made over $1.5 million with our free view content. He owned all his outcomes, winning and losing, and bought his way in. Many do. Okay. So please try remember and take responsibility. Stop losses are a thing. Okay. And that red line that we have there, that would represent a stop loss. The lowest and worst would be at that level there. We think you could be doing squeezy Japanesey for the gold to start moving and reflating on its way back up. Yes, Chinese. The Chinese, please. By the way, I did some very unflattering imitations of the Chinese. Love the Chinese, not the Chinese. They don't scream racism quite so fast as other people do. I'm lucky I can get away with it. They're awesome. They're awesome. We have members of our community of an Oriental bend. They are all gentlemen to a T. But nonetheless, I can't help myself. Humor is what I do. Inappropriate, bad humor is me. Okay, I can't help but I want to laugh, and people can laugh about me as well. I'm okay with it. It's all right. You know, let's look at gold against the dollar. Let's look at gold versus the dollar. We're being silly again today because we have haters that were betrayed. Haters that were betrayed. Betrayal, absolute betrayal. So when you look at the dollar, the key point that we're trying to highlight here is this is higher than that. So it's no longer as perfect a structure, which might mean that for a period, the dollar is going to get a little bit of a rest. But generally, if the euro and the Australian dollar, my favorite is actually the Australian dollar, you just don't get the cross as readily available, gold, Aussie. I'll show you that one and why I like it more. You can learn something for free about charting while you take ownership of your own outcomes and recognize that leverage trading is not something you should do untrained, okay? Especially just following someone who you expect to send personal exits from to your phone direct, or YouTube at all times of night, regardless of his condition. Here we go. Aussie. I want to show you the Aussie. The Aussie is the one we like most. In fact, it was picked by one of our Hong Kong contingent, one of my faves, an absolute legend, sniper, community member now for quite some time. And he was telling us interesting things about China and Hong Kong when he came and visited us recently as a community member. That's right. That's right. He's got property. He's in Mauritius. He's doing lots of interesting things. You can't know his name. I don't have his permission to talk about him. But I can tell you, that's what people do that start building their wealth. They travel, they have fun, they have property in other places, they have fallback plans in case Hong Kong collapses and the Chinese take it all and they don't have the same degree of cover. They all have, wherever you are, you have a reset plan. Everybody has reset plans. That's right. The ones that have plans have a plan. The ones that don't, don't. By the way, Holland is going to introduce 36%, can you believe this, unrealized capital gains to their citizenry in, I think it's 2027. And I'm here to tell you, that's a short step to them actively killing you. You see that? I did a very small step. I went from unrealized capital gains to them planning your demise. That's right. There was an incredible movie. We did it, and I can't ever get that name to stick. It was a kind of a weird name. And I was just discussing it today as well with a community member. And here's the thing about unrealized capital gains. It is legalized stuff you theft. It's forced sales. They know they're going to force you to sell it so that you can give the money over to them. It is active dispossession. And when people start to disrespect you so much that they will actively decree dispossession of you, you are in Bolshevik times and they are going to come and kill you in the end, because you're giving way to them on every little thing, each little thing, a little more, a little more, a little more. That's how you get to being put to death by your own government for vagary reasons. They'll call it you were antiseptic, you were too conservative valued, you were too whatever. They start by dispossessing you of your assets. Go and read what happened in the Bolshevik Revolution, the Armenians, yes, and go and see how you became a second-tier citizen in Palestine before you eventually got blanket bombed. That is the modus operandi. That is the modus operandi of asset stripping to eventual death. Once you are a serf who has nothing and they've taken it off you, well, you're a pain in the ass. You're hanging around. You want fed and you're moaning and you're hungry. And they, what's your point for existence? That's a very small step then for the events, much like CV19, which turned out to be rather anti your health rather than being pro your health. As you start to learn, so you will learn. The onset of tax scavenge mode is the precursor to a genocide. Leave, leave, leave. The one person who's always warned you, who's always told you, I don't care how you want to frame it, I don't care what you want to do, they are your enemy. They are your enemy. They should be reviled and hated by you, undermined by you, attacked by you. They should face adverse feedback events that make their existence very hard. You've made it too easy. You've rolled over. You're all spineless. Now you will have to leave. You will have to leave. That's where you are. And back to gold in Australian dollars. After that sexy little interlude to the far right-hand side, we come wailing back to gold. Gold as your financial preservation in the corrupt fiat and debt debasement times. Gold sits there looking at you. This is what it does. It doesn't scream. It doesn't shout. It just keeps delivering preservation millennium after millennium. And if you think it's only 3 millennium, then you haven't been reading the right history books. You've been reading the approved revised, the Macmillan, wait for it, the Maxwell variety, dare I say. He, of course, was a publisher. That's right, Maxwell. You've been hearing a lot about his daughter and her little pal. We all know his name and what's been going on. What have you learnt about the world? What have you really learnt about the world? Most people have learnt nothing. A little bit of gossip for the day. They've learnt nothing about how the world works. And because of that, you will be killed by them. and you will have offered no resistance, and you wouldn't have taken one single scalp of theirs. That's what's going to happen. Otherwise, you would be talking like I'm talking, you would be planning like I'm talking, and realizing that gold is part of the solution of preserving your financial affairs, but it's not the only part of the solution. And you're still in Europe, you're still in America, you're still in Australia, you're still in Canada. And so you carry on. Good luck. For every day you stay, it's harder to leave. The exit taxes are being lowered, everything else. Gold against the Australian dollar, winding up, squeezy primer on a macro. That's right, the unrealized capital gains, my Dutch friends, are the guarantee that they will kill you. That's right. You see that jump? You think it's a big jump. Actually, for me, it's a very small and obvious one. They are coming to kill you. That's right, genocide. There's never been people that they've dispossessed of property, they've villainized, that they didn't in the end seek to genocide. Okay? And how many modern examples have you got all around you? Time to wake up. Anyway, with this, we're going quite reset today. I don't know what's wrong. Someone spiked my urine that I'm drinking here. It's not urine, but anyway, maybe it is. Who knows? They call it kombucha. Kombucha is for the stomach. That's right. Anyway, back to this. So Golden Oz is looking very much like it's being set up for an upside breakout. And the Chinese are quiet. When the Chinese are quiet, there's no major driving. But was there selling? Was there much selling? No. Low volume, low volatility, tight, holding the level. That means in the absence of the runaway steam train that has driven this market, go and have a look at the East prices versus the West pricing on the sessions of the East versus the West. You will realize that actually it is held incredibly strong, given that one of the major locomotives have fallen quiet. What do you think happens when we come back? 3 impulses. HVF method says to you, we are going higher on Australian dollars through the 7,500, probably trade the 7,600, which will take you a long way to retracing the slap in the face event, that once-off ambush that we've suggested will end. There you go. That will end 7,946. Remember, you can book a call. You might need to plan it long in advance. Don't leave it too late. It's part of your reset planning. The link is across. Book it and do it. Get your accounts in order. Get ready to build wealth and use that wealth to establish a footprint outside of the most Bolshevik bent nations, which are all the traditionally European-based nations, the English language, Commonwealth, and Europe. That is them. Don't be there when it all goes down. Otherwise, you will find yourself on the end of the unrealized capital gains. So that's gold in the Aussie. Let's go have a look again through gold euro and gold dollar, because you want to see them back to back, one after another. Very similar, because gold is the similar thing. The target for the euro 4.5, you can see where the stop is. Nice little 3 impulse squeezy Japanesey in there. And again, these are both, the Aussie and the euro are both legitimate upside HVFs. Now, what about the dollar, you say? What about the dollar? Everybody's used to looking at the dollar. Even when they're in Euroland, they look at the gold dollar price often more than the gold euro price. Because it's the benchmark, it's the fiat and the anti-fiat. This is, of course, higher. You have this, but the result will be similar, in my opinion. The result will be similar. It's just less predictable. You see, you actually have a rising wedge. But don't all rising wedges break down? No, sir. No, sir. 3 bags full. They don't all break down. You can have a third impulse. In fact, you're getting quite a bit of squaring up here. You can see there was a rising element to it, but now you're squaring up. That's what squaring up means, when the triangle seems to be more symmetricalized instead of ascending. There you go. He makes his own words up. Who is this man? How dare he? That's not English. Stop him. It should be against the rules. It must be illegal in some ways. What laws has he broken? Let's have him arrested. So that's that. Now, some of you will say, but you don't talk about silver. Gold leads. Gold leads. So we will have a look at silver. And I do expect that silver will begin the further recovery as part and parcel of this. However, gold will lead, silver will follow. That means it is going low vol too. But in terms of its technicals, it's a lot lower relative to its overall range. So we look at who survived the downside. Gold always survives downside better than most things. Ask the Bitcoin guys. The Bitcoin guys, oh dear, oh dear. What about our Bitcoin guys? What a bunch they've had to learn of late. And who'd have told them so long time ago, since 2016. And now with every passing year, more itsy-weeny little BlackRock, Lowell, Finkelstein, Epstein details, Dershowitz, the whole shooting match, Adam Back visiting James, the legend who started Bitcoin, sitting there on Little St. James. Oh, how hard it must be when you've enraptured such a fairy tale with your imaginary Japanese friend of nobility and pristine code and unbelievable collateral and all of that. And now you suddenly get all the mystique peeling away. The truth is rolled back. Filthy molesters, kiddie fiddlers, absolute scum of the earth, vile abusers, murderers. The cruelty of some of these stories that you will find. Yep. There seems to be a preponderance of certain people in the list, names, and they all seem to have zero care, ultimate supremacy. They are the ultimate racists, projecting racism on everybody else. Isn't it funny and ironic that? The ultimate supremacists and racists. But silver down here is not at the 23.6%. He transitioned quickly to the silver, thinking he might go on a very dangerous rant for YouTube. 23.6%. And if we go back to gold and see, well, how's gold recovered? This is the aspect of buoyancy that gold moves first. He's your king. You get a setback event, such as when we say no more leverage longs 6 a.m. while trundling onto our motorbike. Maybe you should believe us, and maybe you shouldn't even expect that, because the truth of the matter is you're responsible for your own exit strategies if you're not in a community that is non-funded. You get to hear what somebody on YouTube tells you when he has the time to tell it. And you should consider yourself lucky that, in fact, a message was even made. We are more decent than most people and more principled than most. And we don't like to see anyone get wrecked, even deluded people that think they're owed something for some strange reason. Anyway, back to this topic that we are here. We are fighting back. The Judas call, the Judas. I love that. I remember on the football stands, like he would leave Arsenal and go play for Spurs, or he'd leave Spurs and go play for Arsenal Football Club. Judas. That is me. Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah, I'm feeling the love. Isn't it beautiful? Anyway, gold by separate decree is already around the 50%, when our friend silver was not yet at the 23.6%. So it's not at the 38.2. It's not at so who leads recovery? Gold leads recovery. Always has been, always will. When you've had a slap in the face, you wait for the king to move. That's the one you buy. You don't wail into silver. You don't wail into platinum, no matter what we've said about platinum or silver. After a setback, it starts again. First is gold. We were trading when we were in United Kingdom in Hyde Park and streaming to you. And we had the false start and then the second start that really went for gold when we were all laughing. It was the gold setup we were trading. Silver got its running shoes on later as that came, and it will do again. Remember, we said after you pass 90.5, you are on some degree of notice for a pullback of some point. So we were already in extra dance time. Yeah, it was past midnight. The club was supposed to be closed. The cops were going to be coming. We were in extra dance time. A last little grope of the girl in the miniskirt out the back of the nightclub. Remember those days? Yes, extra dance time. You were right there. It was time to be heading off soon. It was going to get ugly. That's where we were. The second interim of the silver. Pullback. But silver will come back again, and it will overrun again, and it will run on balance of probabilities, our target of 333. Despite what everybody thinks that suddenly pivoted bear on this, we are in a macro upside HVF. which we will be showing you in good time again. Let's go out to the big time frames, in fact. Let's go to let's stay with gold and let's go to the monthlies. Let's just remind everybody how it has done. Let's get rid of all our drawings. There you go. That was your rejection. And how have you fared? We came onto YouTube shortly after the SmackDown when we returned from bike tour, and we said the only way you fight back against that massive rejection is you have a massive rejection to the downside too, and you got exactly that. We showed it to you in the 2 weekly, and then some people said, but the week's not closed yet. We said, we know that. We're second guessing it. We like to be early. We like to be early, not late, and that's how it worked. That's the week. There's your big rejection to the high side. It's a very bearish candle. And here is the similar rejection to the downside. Neutralized, you closed up. That was a very thin red body when we said it. And then it was flipping to doji, being flat. We said it will finish stronger and you will probably end up in a green week this week. We have just begun the week, Monday, and it's Chinese New Year. And that is why it's quiet and it feels directionless, feels a tiny bit moribund maybe. Don't worry, things will be coming rather well. That's how, when you look at it on a weekly, there's your shooting star. That is a legit shooting star. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The only way you negate a shooting star is you put an equally long hammer in the opposite direction. Now you've nixed it and you've stayed right there where you are. The current period of this week is green and looking that way. We expect it to break to the upside. Keep on keeping on is our mantra. Gold first, gold first. Gold preferably against other currencies rather than the dollar for this rare occasion. It's not always that we say that. All fiats are turning to dust, but dollar had number good, fake number good on unemployment, fake number good on hourly rates, fake number good on how many jobs. Remember, we highlighted how the jobs number is an absolute perversion, an absolute whatever they want it to be, and a non-stat. It is a real non-reliable stat. But hey, number good. So dollar might not get as badly hit this time round, trading it, if you have the option, against the euro or the Australian dollar, as examples would potentially be very, very good for you. So let's go remind ourselves of the silver, because we guys said, Judah, you told us silver was going to 333 and then it would go 4 digits and now it crashed. It's like, I guaranteed it was a straight line up from here. It's unbelievable. I love it. Don't worry. I know most of you are not part of that. But there's some really stupid people on the internet, aren't there? There's some really stupid people that have been betrayed. They've been betrayed. It wasn't a straight line. It wasn't a straight line to 333. You bastard. You never told us. Shooting star. Not as strong a rebuttal. You can see the body is not as high. This is quite a long wick over here. It's not as long as the bottom, so there is more up, but you can see why you've hung a bit heavier on silver. But that's not the view we want. The real view we want is to remind you of the big picture. Because when the short-term road gets a little bumpy, remind yourself of the big old journey you're going on. The big old journey you are going on. That's right. He's talking about this guy. He's going to have to make that imperfect, which he'll do. So let's remind you of this draw. Do you see the fat candles? Who doesn't like a fat candle? My goodness. I tell you what, I'd get in trouble for some of the things I'd seen people with fat candles do. But anyway, let's have a look at this. That RH2, what have we got as a high? 49.81428. We're just going to eliminate it. We're going to eliminate it. 49.81428. 49.81428. Okay, we're reminding you of the big picture, the long term. Remember that? Remember, we said that. Remember, we said that. We even said at some point you're going to get a pullback and it's going to come after you've run the 90.5. And that sure qualified. That sure qualified. The run through to $121. 67 cents was certainly a qualifier. You see that shooting star through that? Now we're on a 6-monthly. These are big candles. These are the fattest candles you've ever seen in silver by volume. You see that big boy? Oh yeah, these are fat candles. Compare it to everything else. This is small fry. And you got your shooting star here. We're still in the 6th month. We're in a January month. We've got a whole bunch more months left just in this 1 6-month candle. It won't probably stay a shooting star for the whole 6 months. No, sir. At some point it goes. But you'll need to remember that at least for a while, it was once and it got smashed all the way back down. It got smashed all the way back down. That's why it's called an interim level, because it's a semi-important target. And when a target gets made, it rests. It rests. It's okay. It's like a horse running and jumping a fence. It has to get a lot of speed and energy and adrenaline up so that it can perform and clear the fence. And then it's exhausted afterwards. What does it do? It sits back down and eats some, hay and chills out, does nothing for a while. Okay. Then we go again. And I can't tell you where this will be in 5 months' time. We've only finished January. We're barely halfway through Feb. So we're halfway through Feb. We've got the other half of Feb, which is half. I'll call it that a half. We've got March, April, May, and June. 4.5 months. 4.5 months to go. You think that candle stays the same in 4.5 months? You think if gold goes up and starts meeting some of these targets, as our Chinese friends come back and start price discovery on the yellow metal again? Oh, it's time for a swig of the yellow kombucha. Oh, yes, fermentation at its finest. They are going to drive new price discovery. Has the dollar corrected sufficiently low enough that it doesn't have record trade deficits with China and Europe? No. Are the other currencies also correcting? Yes. Does it need to correct even more than the other currencies? Yes. Okay, so if that's all going to happen, what's going to happen to gold? Gold goes higher. Gold goes higher. Fundamentally, technically, in every way, and silver will end up following it. Silver will end up following the 6-month candle. I imagine the body will go higher and will remain green. And then we will go for the 333 range. And that, my friends, just in case you think that looks close by. You see, charts can be deceptive. There's something that's called log scale. I've got to be careful I don't over pitch here, because we've got some simpletons that like to follow the YouTube channel as well. We've got to be kind to the simpletons. I know you're not one of them, but those other guys, you never sent me a personal exit on my hyper leverage long. You broke me. I'm a bust man. You see that? For those that don't think it's a big call, look at that distance. That is in normal geometric scale. We've got this far so far, 25 to there. That's how far we've done. In case you don't think the calls we are making are ballsy, that's how much we still have to go to deliver our on-target performance. And then after a rest here, we see single digits, which will be a 4-digit number. Could be thousands, 2,500s. It could be crazy numbers. Silver will be repriced for its use case and its physical demand. That, for me, friends, is a fact like a cow. A feit soos 'n koei, soos hulle sê in Afrikaans. It's a farming nation. They have interesting sayings. A feit soos 'n koei, a fact like a cow. It just is. It sits there. It's a cow. It's a fact. That's it. That's what they say. I can't say that because we're talking about the future, and I can be wrong. On balance of probabilities, I think it's a fact, soos 'n cow, let me say. But anyway, there you go. So 76 going for 333. That means, friends, you're looking at about $260 more just to get to the next major resting point. That was the only other resting point that we said you could have a reaction at. We've been aggressively long, doing exceedingly well, trading, minting new millionaires, making happy smiley faces. Click a link below, but be prepared to wait for your booking. We have put more people on it, but the volume and the demand has been obscene. It seems lots of people don't want to get destroyed by the Bolsheviks. Lots of people want to have silly money so that they can live a great, great life. Lots of people actually want to be able to buy themselves options and have a better quality of existence. And I'm glad to hear it. And we look forward to helping lots of people with it. Not the people who don't own their own outcomes, though. They can stay and puke in the comments because they are where they belong. They're at the bottom of the pyramid. And there's always a beggar in any society. There's always a beggar. There's always an entitled person. There's always somebody for whom it's somebody else's fault when they lose. So those guys must stay there. Everyone else, welcome to book a call if you're in the own your own outcomes category. 330 is a long way away, friends, from here, especially on top of a shooting star. So he's not so lacking in boldness after all. It's a shooting star candle so far on the 6 monthly. And people say, oh, you can't say that about the weekly candles. He said it after 2 or 3 days. He's saying that this will cease to be such a bad shooting star by the time the 6 months are up, because he's expecting it not even to hold long enough for 6 months. Why? Because gold is going to start moving, and eventually silver will start responding. And when silver gets responding, it's going to respond even stronger. So we're saying not only is this not particularly bearish, we think it will change. We think this green candle goes up. The long run, we're saying you're going there. You're going there. That's right. The guy who said at 25 that you're at a primer. Where did you last hear that word? The primer, the HVF speak, the squeeze within a squeeze, the little dimple on the back of a bullet that starts the spark that blows up the rounds, the first spark that starts the pressure, the boom that drives the bullet down the barrel, the real beginning of it all. We gave you that primer as yours truly, Brent Johnson, with a gazillion followers, who says he's bullion dealer, just like the other guy, uses the exact same sentence. My bullion dealer isn't buying any back right now, just like the guy before, 2 hours before. Imagine that. You'd think that maybe somebody was given a sentence and was paid to say, fill in the rest, must have this line. Very interesting. Anyway, that guy, he said at this point, that silver guys are about to lose their heads again as it goes through $25. And we were about to lose our heads. And we called him out for being wrong. We made the biggest fuss about it. He has become a pantomime antagonist, a rah-rah dollar man. Oh dear, oh dear. And now, what say we? We say more, higher, further, longer. There's too many paid shills out there. Nobody pays us anything to say anything. All my opinions are my own. My own crappy, bad, poor taste humor is all my own. Everything is my own. Right here. HVF method is my own. It's the only place you can get it. You book a call on a link below. We are here fighting Bolshevism, building wealth, protecting wealth, and securing freedom against totalitarian forces. Unrealized capital gains is a half step away from murder, worldwide or nationwide potential genocide. Take that from me, as weird as it sounds. Once they disrespect you, to dispossess you, actively by law, write a law to dispossess you of that which is your own on after-tax incomes, they disrespect you so much that they resent you, hate you, see you as wasted space, and they will without doubt be looking to retire you and act out their great fantasy of being godly. And to them, being godly means having the power of taking somebody else's life. They will go about it, and they'll do so under the veil of righteousness. Under the grand veil of righteousness, they will bear their swords and slay the innocents. That is who they are. I warn you, I warn you, I warn you. This is not just about wealth building. This is about jurisdiction. This is about preservation of life, freedom, and your assets. You need to leave. You need to leave. You need to leave. Europe, Commonwealth, America, you name it. You need to leave. It's not in a good space. It is going in the wrong direction. All the signs are bad. The criminals, the criminality of these pathetic little leaders, the likes of Macron and all of them, you should be storming in and slapping them about the face and turning them upside down and dropping them headfirst into paper bins. You should be tarring and feathering them. The fact that you let these little cock-a-hoop clowns lord over you, these half men, it's an absolute crime. It's a crime. It's a crime. It's a crime. The fact that they get away with so much at everybody else's expense, it is an absolute crime. It's an indignity. It's a humiliation ritual that is being installed over you. Not only remember the Bolsheviks and the manner in which they slaughtered nuns and priests, Orthodox priests. It was not only to take someone's life, it was a humiliation ritual of glee, torture, viciousness. This is who they are, my friends. I didn't expect it to come out like this today on this live stream, but let me tell you, I never know what's going to come out of here. This is what's sitting in my heart right now when I see news like that. I can tell you about gold, I can tell you about making money, and yes, I love it, and on most days I do it. But everything else falls into meaninglessness if you lose family, loved ones, life, and everything else. It is all about extending your existence. Then you can worry about making sure you've got enough money protecting it. I'm here to warn you, this is not a good place. The wrong people are in charge. If you are watching the revelations and not learning the way the world truly works deeply and recognizing it hasn't been just for the last year or two. This has been multi-decade, it's been centuries and millennia long, but in terms of this technological creep, it is in a very, very, very dark place. You need a community of like-minded. You want strong-willed, real men, real women that are ready to take a stand and secure themselves an existence outside of these nations, these parasitically captured nations that are pursuing this agenda. Anyway, that's it for gold and silver. There's your rest on silver. There's your shooting star on the 6 month. We can drop a time frame or two and see how it goes. It'll probably hold for the 3 month too. There's your shooting star on the 3 month. You can see it. You can see it. But I think it will improve as time goes on. And as gold does what I think it will do, and I think it's not far off. I think our gold potential break is not too far off. And that is where we start. Gold is your primary driver. Gold is your primary driver. It is. And it is sitting pretty. It is looking ready. Let's go to the 2 hour and finish where we started. This looks like a squeeze within a squeeze. A little bit flat-footed here. You've got a little bit slightly downward bias. You could sell off a little bit here. I wouldn't want to see this run. So where are we wrong? Against the dollar, it's not really a setup against the dollar, but I wouldn't want to see 4,870 run. Against the euro and the Aussie, which we've given as examples, it might even be okay against the pound if you are British and you have that option to you. But if we look at it there, you wouldn't want it to run on the euro that low there. That would be a concern. I'm looking for the Chinese to come back into the market and to start providing leadership on the precious metals. And that should be something very positive. Okay, we'll see how this little short-term squeeze, as I say, you could trade down and come a little lower and then come back over tonight. If this were to break to the upside, that could mean it's quite imminent. If it were to come down first and cycle back and then come back up, that could mean later part of the week could be possible. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Where are the Judas callers? Judas Iscariot. How many pieces of silver did you take for not telling us on YouTube that we should get out of our leverage long trades? Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, the entitlement, the sense of entitlement of the peasants' classes. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're right about the peasants. Good to see you, brother. Says, thanks for your honesty, Francis. Woke up in the dark. Glad I did. At least find similarly minded people near you. Indeed, do that. It is important. We're around farms, fresh food, unbelievable, nutritious, fresh, untreated food. Pick that morning. No slowed down with this nuking thing that they put in the supermarket so that it has longer shelf life. No sprays, no anything like that. Just come what shape they are, nutritious. We had salads that were crunchy and beautiful. Farmland country out here. It's nothing if not a farm. Isn't gold in a bear flag? No, sir. No, sir. We think it's an upside HVF. Listen, we can be 180. So here's the thing we always have to own, and we can be 180 degrees wrong. So when you get a squeeze, generally, it means a high volatility move is coming. It means a high volatility move is probably coming. If we're wrong, we're going to be completely wrong. We'll be 180 degrees wrong. But that's what stop losses are for. Yes, remember that, leverage traders, free view leverage traders. Stop loss. Write that down. Write that word, stop loss down. That's what stop losses are for. You could start reducing there. You could start reducing here. You could still have a deep dip all the way here and not run there. You should be all out at that point. So reducing if you already are long. If you're not already long, and by the way, this is not a leverage trade channel. We don't do that. We do that in the community, and we teach and we learn and we practice together and we implement. That's it. That's where we are always there. There you get everything, the ins, the outs, the maybes, the befores, the afters, the postmortems, everything. If you want that, you pay for it. That's why the people pay. They pay to be respected. Free, you get what I have time to give you. But going back to this, that's your stop. You can start reducing if you're already in. But if you want to play safe and you're an investor, just accumulate. In terms of YouTube content, my main thing is Blue Pot, which is unleveraged for people. I think people should hold gold. I think people should hold gold, not because anybody pays me to. There's no gold council that pays me a check. Thank you for your good work pushing gold. It's like, nice, yeah, here's a fact check. A lot of people bought gold recently. No one's going to give me credit for people buying gold. I'm sorry. There's nobody to pay. It's because it's sound money. It's because it's sound money. It's because it makes sense. It's because you're not doing something stupid. You're not accumulating reams of fiat, okay? You're buying gold. You hold something. It's preservational in preservational time. So I think generally you could be a buyer of gold and even back into silver if you're investing. If you're leverage trading, well, you need your own strategy. You need to know what you're doing, and you need stop losses. And you probably need take profits, according to me and the HVF method. But you can go do your own thing and on your head be it. And nothing I say should be inferred as a leverage trade, even though I occasionally say, hey, I've got no leverage longs right now. Okay, that's it. I hope the rules are clear. For me, you could wait. You could wait for the takeout over here and wait for the entrance on that point on the upside. Must share the screen. Let's go and share the screen. So the one thing you could do if you're an investor, or if you are someone who wants to use leverage, do it on your own head. But people can wait for the takeout of that third high, and then you will get your opportunity, and you don't have half of the amount of risk. Because I like to be in early, I accumulate over here. But if I'm wrong, I have to get out. As ever, nothing is a leverage trade for leverage traders. You must own your own outcomes if you want to trade leverage on anything we say. But you can wait until the market confirms the move, is how we teach our community. There you go. You got something for free. And again, it's not inferred as indication for anybody to trade leverage. All right, that's it, guys. Yeah, as I mentioned, we've got a lot of demand at the moment, so you'll have to wait for payments options if you want to do payment options till the new month. If you book a call, you might have to wait 2 weeks odd to get into the diary, but we will continue to maintain our excellent standards. We want to help as many people go forward as is possible, and this is our takes. We can always be wrong, and if we are wrong, we'll be 180 degrees wrong. It'll break down hard to the downside, and with momentum as well, potentially. So I don't think it's a bear flag, to answer the one person's comment. I could understand if someone said it was a rising wedge. On the dollar, a tiny bit is. Remember, rising wedges don't all break down. And on the euro, it's actually a squared up version of an HVF, more like that. So bear that in mind. The dollar isn't the only currency. And it had strong data. Okay, till next time, we'll catch you later. Thanks for watching, and yeah, stay tuned, like and subscribe. We'll see you around soon.